I think nature speaks to us. It has got natural healing things in it.
Gardens and nature are a huge source of therapy. It's an escape, and I think that's something to really hold on to. It's very precious.
Everything that we take for granted, you know, she needs help with.
Why do you need the wheelchair, Bobbit?
Because my legs get tired.
They do, don't they?
Josie's condition and muscular dystrophy affects the whole body. Accessibility in the current world is not good enough. But we hope that the garden at the Chelsea Flower Show highlights some of that need to be accessible.
Our members are here as any other member of staff would be, working in the canteen, working in the kitchen, and just interacting with members of the public. And that's a really big thing for us. We want to be seen, we want to be visible, we want to be out in the community in all sorts of settings. This morning as I came in, 2 of our customers at the community cafe, which is from an area that's not affluent, just came up very quietly and said, "Oh, I hear you're doing something big," and put 5 £20 notes on the counter. Now that made us cry, because it was a really powerful thing. People obviously believe in us, and I feel we probably owe things to them, people who won't come to Chelsea with us, but we owe them.
I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't really work out what it was, but I felt very sick and couldn't see. So I rang 999 and I went to have an MRI, and they discovered a big bleed on my brain. Being 27 when it happened was really difficult. Everyone has their own experience of things that have happened as a result of it, whether that's personal, emotional or physical. Like, I think it's really hard to capture it in just one voice, and actually it is so important to try and capture everyone's voice.
Until my diagnosis, I didn't actually know how heavily I'd been masking. I didn't know I was masking. I struggled socially, and I struggled with communication and talking to people. There is a grief and a sadness that comes with a late diagnosis, what might have been if I'd been diagnosed earlier. But on the flip side, the diagnosis has been incredibly liberating. It's given me the answers that I've always been looking for, and yeah, I feel more like me than I ever have. You know, I know myself better than I ever have, and there's something pretty amazing about that. There's a real joy that comes with that. Being able to be myself and accept myself is something I never thought I would have.
I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at 19, then had a stage 3 bowel cancer diagnosis at 30, and had a panproctoclectomy, which is a surgery that left me with a permanent stoma or ileostomy. I came across Bowel Research UK in the years after my surgery, and I sit on various committees with them as PPI, which is Public Patient Involvement, and just sit on these meetings that you wouldn't think you have an opportunity to give a patient voice in some really interesting studies that are going on and the development of all sorts of bowel disease, and it's just nice to know that the patient voice has a place.
I think for years it was such a taboo to sort of bring up HIV. Being on effective treatment, it means that I can't pass the virus on. Now I'm really looking forward to what the future holds.
The climate crisis is a water crisis. When we take care of our water resource, it can make such a huge difference. Parents are able to send their children to school, farmers are able to work. It really does help people live their lives to the fullest.
Horticultural therapy is a really good intervention, partly because it doesn't rely so much on words. You're there in the moment, you're working with plants, and those can trigger all sorts of conversations about what those plants mean to people. But what is clear is that all of them, if it's done right, seem to kind of get calmness as a result of being in the garden, even if it's just a moment.